Hello everyone. As a first thing, let me be clear. I know AI voices are not pleasant. However, this is the best I can do at the moment. But the content of this message is all mine, so please listen to it and leave a comment if you want to share your opinion about what I'm going to say. This message is mainly directed to ASOBO, but I'm very aware it's very unlikely they will ever hear it. I wanted to share some feedback regarding the current state of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 in VR on PS5 because my latest flight was honestly quite shocking, unfortunately in a very negative way. During the entire flight, the image quality was extremely blurry. Aliasing was very pronounced, textures looked low resolution, and the overall image appeared heavily pixelated. The cockpit was slightly better than the original release version, but not as easy to read as in the first beta release. And outside the cockpit, I felt that the visual quality had essentially returned to the same very low level we had at launch. Everything at even a moderate distance was noticeably blurred, including airport structures and scenery. For my latest flight, I also deliberately avoided clouds. In previous flights, the clouds, especially those appearing along the horizon at medium distance, showed extremely noticeable visual artifacts. They looked heavily pixelated and almost squared off, with visible blocks constantly moving and flashing across the cloud formations. The effect is not simply unattractive, it is extremely distracting and uncomfortable to look at during a long VR session. What makes this particularly frustrating is the contrast with the first version of the Sim Update 6 beta. At that point, the visual quality was genuinely exceptional. I praised it everywhere on YouTube and some forums. The improvement was so significant that it completely changed my expectations for what MFS 2024 could actually look like on PSVR 2. It was not a small improvement. It felt like a completely different level of visual quality. That is why the current situation is so disappointing. Seeing the quality gradually decrease from that first beta to the current version has been extremely difficult. It is one thing to start with a poor VR implementation and hope that future updates will improve it. It is something completely different to experience an excellent level of quality, realize what the hardware and the simulator are actually capable of, and then watch that quality disappear step by step. At this point, the game is unfortunately no longer enjoyable for me in VR. I sincerely ask ASOBO to consider giving players a choice between a quality mode and a performance mode. If necessary, allow us to use the visual quality of that first Sim Update 6 beta at our own risk, even if that means accepting a higher possibility of crashes or reduced performance. Please give users this choice. For those of us who prioritize image quality in VR, having the option to push the hardware harder would be far preferable to being locked into a heavily downgraded visual presentation. I want to be honest about the consequences this is having for me personally as a flight simulator content creator. Even though I'm absolutely aware I'm absolutely irrelevant to ASOBO, with my 9 subscribers and close to 0 views per video, but still, I'm entitled to my opinion. Before the summer break, after experiencing the first version of the Sim Update 6 beta, I was genuinely looking forward to coming back and continuing my series. I had finally seen the level of VR quality I had been hoping for, and I was excited to produce the rest of the series with that visual experience. Instead, after returning and starting again, I gradually noticed what feels like an increasingly severe downgrade. At this point, I am seriously and sadly considering suspending both my use of the simulator and the video production of this series, simply because the experience is no longer enjoyable enough to justify continuing such a long series. The most frustrating part is that I now know what MSFS 2024 is capable of on PSVR 2. I cannot convince myself to produce a long series using a VR presentation that feels essentially stuck at the quality level of the original release when I have already experienced how much better it can be. Please, ASOBO, reconsider the current VR visual balance, and above all, give us back the choice. If the first Sim Update 6 beta was capable of delivering that level of clarity, there must be a way to let users decide whether they want maximum visual quality or maximum stability. Thank you for continuing to work on the PSVR 2 version. I genuinely hope this feedback miraculously reaches the people responsible for the VR rendering pipeline, because I would very much like to continue using the simulator and producing this series. But in its current state, I simply cannot enjoy it anymore. I really hope you can do something to fix it as soon as possible, and I really hope you can do something to help all of us getting the best version possible on our PlayStation. Thank you. And for all of you listening to this message, please leave a comment below and let me know what do you think about your experience as well.